Good afternoon, dear student. Open your lecture copybook. You write data today. You write lecture number 5, physiotherapy. Next slide. Look at the screen, dear student. You can see information about contents this lecture. Question number 1, galvanization. Question number 2, electrophoresis. Question number 3, electrostimulation. Question number 4, personalization. Question number 5, UHF therapy. Dear student, you should write all this information in my screen. Write all 5 questions and contents. All information in my screen you write in your lecture copybook now. Next slide. Finish right. Next slide. Finish right. Next slide. Next. Look at the screen, dear student. You can see information about physiotherapy. Physiotherapy is the sphere of practical medicine that studies the effect of natural and artificially created by physical factors used for the treatment of patient diseases, prevention and medical rehabilitation. Dear student, all information in my screen you should write in your lecture copybook. All this material you should write in your lecture copybook now. All information in my screen you write. Finish right. Next slide. Finish right. Next slide. Next. Look at the screen, dear student. You can see information about question number 1. You write question number 1 in your lecture copybook. Question number 1, galvanization. You write in your lecture copybook question number 1, galvanization. Next slide. Finish right. Next slide. Next. Next. Look at the screen, dear student. You can see information about galvanization. Galvanization is a method of the physiotherapy that uses the impact on human body for the therapeutic purpose DC to 50 mA and low voltage 40-60 volt. Dear student, you should write all this material about galvanization, this information you write in the lecture book. This diagram, dear student, you should only attention look. This apparatus for galvanization. Only attention look. You write this material on my screen in your lecture copy book. Finish, right, next slide. Finish, right, next slide. Next. Look at the screen, dear student, you can see information about block diagram apparatus for galvanization. Dear student, you should draw all this diagram in your lecture copy book. You write this material in my screen, this information, block diagram apparatus for galvanization, and draw all this diagram in your lecture copy book. Dear student, please draw big diagram and write all these parts in my picture. You write this information block diagram parts for galvanization and draw this picture in your lecture copy book. Write all these parts and draw all this diagram. Please, dear student, draw big diagram in your lecture copy book. Finish, write, finish, draw, next slide. Finish, write, finish, draw, next slide. Next. Next. Look at the screen, dear student. You can see information about different parts, block diagram apparatus for galvanization. Dear student, you should write all this material in my screen. This material very important. This material about different parts, block diagram apparatus for galvanization. All information in my screen you should write in the lecture copy book. It's very important information. All information in my screen you write in your lecture copy book now. All information you write in the lecture copy book now. This information about different parts, apparatus for galvanization. Finish right, next slide. Finish right, next slide. Next. Next. Look at the screen, dear student. You can see different effects arising of the body tissue under the influence apparatus for galvanization. Dear student, you should write all this information on my screen. Effects arising in the body tissue under the influence apparatus for galvanization are electrolysis, ion asymmetry, polarization, electrodiffusion, electroosmosis. All information in my screen, all this information in my screen, you should write in the lecture book now. It's very important information. All information in my screen.